This is one of those moments in global politics that forces you to stop and ask, did this really just happen? Not behind closed doors, not through any diplomatic whispers, but in full public view on social media from the President of the United States. You're watching TimesXP. My name is Dhritiyatri, and Donald Trump does something unheard of. He shares an image of himself as Venezuela's acting president. Yes, not in a closed room, not in a leaked memo, but openly for the rest of the world to see it. But why would a US president do that? Because Washington says that the old order in Caracas, it has collapsed completely. Here's the background that you need. For years, Nicolás Maduro, he ruled Venezuela through fear, sanction, and control over oil. The economy collapsed. People fled, oil production crashed despite Venezuela sitting on the world's largest reserves. Then comes the turning point. US launches an attack. That too, a large-scale operation. Target, the very top of the regime. Result, Maduro and his wife, they were captured. No long speeches, no negotiations dragged out on the TV, just power removed. And Trump moves fast, right? Really fast. Speaking aboard Air Force One, he drops the real bombshell. The US is already receiving Venezuelan oil, not small amounts, not trial shipments. Mr. Trump confirmed that 50 million barrels, it is on the way to America. That is enough to shake global oil prices, by the way. Enough to worry the rivals, enough to tell the entire world that this is serious. So, who's in charge of Caracas now? Trump signals a transition. Vice President Delcy Rodriguez, a figure once tied to the old regime, opposition leader Maria, a symbol of resistance. Two sides, one country, and Washington says that it is talking to both. But you know why this matters? Because Venezuela is not just another country, it is an oil giant in waiting. Whosoever controls Caracas, well, that person, that country influences fuel prices far beyond Latin America. Trump calls this a reset. He says relationships are improving rapidly, diplomatic channels, they are reopening. Deals that were impossible for years, they are all of a sudden moving. And then comes the big message to big oil. Trump tells the global energy companies, come back, invest again. The US will guarantee safety now, the US will protect assets. The chaos is over, that's what he claims. But there is also a warning, by the way, a warning to Russia, which once backed Maduro, warning to China, which loaned billions to Caracas, and warning to Iran, which used Venezuela as a sanctions workaround. America is back in Venezuela's oil field, and it is not asking quietly now. Supporters calls it decisively dishing. Critics call it dangerous overreach. Latin America watches nervously. Well, market, it reacts instantly. One thing is certain here. This is not just a story about Trump. This is about power. It's about oil and who writes the rule after regime fall. Venezuela is at a crossroad, and the road it takes next, it could really shape energy politics across the globe. Well, this isn't the end of the story, ladies and gentlemen. This is the opening chapter.